Hello, everybody. Uh, I told you on Cacao Talk that I would give you directions for how to format your journal entries for today. So I want to take a few minutes to do that, and hopefully this won't take too much of your time. Now, right now I have a Microsoft Word document open, and I have not saved it yet. It doesn't have a title yet. You can see up here at the top the title just says document one at the very top of the screen. And the text that I have in here is simply a short story that I copied from the internet just so that I would have some text to work with. This is not uh, what your journal entries should be talking about. Remember, you have 5 specific topics that you should be writing about your self-introduction and what you did during the break, what you learned in the class, etc. So make sure that you follow that format. This is actually one complete story. It's a short story about Robin Hood. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. I don't know how popular Robin Hood is in Korea, but it's a story about a man, sort of a rebel, I guess. You would say and we'd say he stole from the rich and gave to the poor. So, according to the authorities, he was uh, breaking the law. He was an outlaw. I just noticed that word here. Um, where's that at? Outlaw means a person who does not follow the law, especially like a criminal, a thief, someone like that would be an outlaw, a bank robber. Um, so this is all just one story about Robin Hood, and I've just put some space in here to divide it up into about 5 equal pieces. If you're interested in reading more stories like this, or they've actually got a recording of this one with somebody actually reading the story, I put the link here at the bottom. You can follow that and you can go to the website here, storynori.com, and they have all sorts of different stories for ESL students, different themes and different levels. So if you're interested in that, if you want something to read, or if you want to listen to some stories, or just see some examples of good writing, of course you can do that. Okay. Today I just want to show you how I want you to format this. So we'll just do some really basic stuff if you just follow along here. Of course, across the top here, we have some different tabs. The first one I want to go to is the Layout tab. Layout. If I click the Layout tab, you'll see here I have margins, orientation, size. Let's go to the margins first because you can see here this is pretty close to the top and the edges. So that's a little too close. Okay. So let's go to margins. And there are some choices here. You can put normal. This is top, bottom, left, and right, all 1 inch. I'm not sure if you have a Korean version of Microsoft Word. I don't know exactly what options it will show there. So let me come all the way down to the bottom and go to the custom margins. Okay. And again, here you'll see margins. Top margin, I'm going to put 2.54. And let's see. Okay, and that is still in inches. Okay. If yours is showing centimeters, 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. We want 1 inch margins, so let me go back to that. Just 1 inch, 1 inch at the top, 1 inch That little looks like a quotation mark there. That means inch. 1 inch at the top, 1 inch at the bottom, 1 inch on the left, and 1 inch on the right. The orientation here, we want the page upright like this, longer from top to bottom than it is from side to side. Landscape, that would be like a, a picture or something. Like my camera here is sort of in a landscape format where it's longer across than it is up and down. Portrait means like an image, or like the Mona Lisa. That's a portrait. Okay. Um, Paper. We can go ahead and look at that here. The paper we want. This is letter size. Letter size is that's the standard paper size in the U.S. That's 8.5 by 11 inches. Of course, in Korea, that's not what you use. You use A4 size. So let's select A4, okay? And layout, this shows some different things that we don't need to worry about right now, about line numbers and borders and things like that. So the main thing here, you want your paper set to A4 and your margins for 1 inch top, bottom, left, and right, okay? So let me do that. And you see there immediately it changes those margins. It adds more space at the top, the left and the right, and of course at the bottom of the page. Okay. Let me just put that in here. 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Okay. So if you're doing yours in centimeters, you want 2.54, or even you can just say 2.5 centimeters. That will give you about an inch on each side. Okay. Again, here's that orientation tab. They do that separately. You want to make sure you have portrait. If you do landscape, then it stretches it out like this so that the page is wider than it is tall. We don't want to do that. We want this portrait orientation. Size, this is again the paper size. There's the letter size, which is the standard in the US, and we have selected A4, which is the standard size here in Korea. So let's leave that. Okay. Columns, we just want a single column. We don't want to divide it left and right, so we don't need to do anything there. Okay. Now you can see here that the print is fairly small. Okay. So let's go up here to the Home button. Home. Up here by File and then Home. Click Home. And then here we can choose our font size or font style and font size. Okay. So let's select all of the text. Now you can select it and just drag it down like that. Okay. And that's not too hard. This isn't a very long document. Or you can also just hit Control A. A stands for all. Control A, and that will highlight everything because I want all the text to be the same here. I don't like this Calibri. Let's just go with a nice standard font. Arial. Okay, this is a very common one. It's used in a lot of stuff. Arial. And 10 is pretty small. So let's go up to size 12. Okay. Arial size 12. So make sure you have everything selected. Do Arial size 12. Now you can see here also that these lines are fairly close together. Okay. Let's put some space in there. It makes it a little easier to read and see. So again, I'm going to do Control A, select everything, and then come over here, down here to where it says paragraph. Okay. Not quite halfway across. It says paragraph. And we can click this little arrow here, okay, where it says paragraph settings. Click that little arrow, and this shows the indentation and spacing. Okay. This spacing, this means before and after paragraphs. We can make that 0. We're going to put in the space that we want. So before and after 0. Line spacing, let's double space it. Double space. Basically what that will do is, if you look here, there's almost no space between the lines here. Double space will put a blank line in here. Okay? And that's all we need to do there. Let's just click OK. And now you can see everything is spread out a little bit more. Okay, a little easier to read. Another thing I want to do, we need to put our name at the top so that when I print these out, if I print them, I can see whose it is. So I'm going to just hit return here at the very top, or enter, and put an extra blank line. And I'm going to type my name, John. You'll type your name, of course. And then I'm going to give you a 3-digit number to use for this course. This is Business English 2, so that'll be a 2, and I'm going to use 200 for myself. Now, if this is here with everything else, it kind of blends in. I like these to be in the top right corner, top right up here. So if I use this, if I click this one, that will put it in the center. I want to do this one, and that will align it on the right side. Okay. And now I have my name and 3-digit number there. Also, we have 5 different entries here, 5 different sections. Let's separate those, okay, make those a little easier for me to follow. So we can just do a 1, do it very simple. And then if you highlight that, just make that bold. Okay, 1. Now we come down here. This is the end of the first entry here. This is number 2. So 2. And let's just do that in bold also. Tell you what, let's make that even more clear. This is still size 12. Let's make this bigger. Let's do a little practice formatting here. Let's make this size 18. Okay, size 18. Make it much bigger. Number 2, size 18. Arial, bold. Come down here to the third one. Number 3, journal entry number 3, Arial, size 18, bold. See, okay, I guess that's the end of number 3. This is number 4 here. So 4, let me press enter there. 4, again, Arial, size 18, bold. And then this will be number 5. Number 5, Arial, size 18, bold. Okay. We also have the little hyperlink down here. I'm just going to make that, let's play with that a little bit. Let's do Arial narrow. You can choose a different font. But let's do size 10 because it's not that important. You don't need to really see it. Okay. But it's there. You can click on it if you want to. So you can see here we have our 5 entries. Okay. And there's a little blank line between the end of the first one and the second one. Okay, so if I go down through this, I can easily see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now you can play with this. You can do different fonts and things just to see what they look like. If I do Control A, you could make it a different font. You could use like one of these handwriting fonts. Okay. And you can make it really small, or you could make it really big. Okay. And some of these, if you're doing a poster or something like that, they might look fun, but we don't want to do that right now. We want it to be easy for me to read. Okay. So I'm going to come up here to the undo at the very top. I'm going to undo that and put it back into Arial size 12. Okay, so name and 3-digit number in the top right corner. Arial size 12. Number your entries, Arial size 18 bold. Number them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's very easy for me to find them. Okay. I hope I haven't left anything out there. Another thing you'll see in here in Microsoft Word, for example, sometimes you'll see these red lines under things. A red line in Word basically means that Microsoft Word doesn't recognize this and it thinks that something is wrong. For example, realized, spelled with an S here, that's the British spelling. So my computer is set up to use American English, so this is telling me it's incorrect. So if I right click on this, then it will give me choices here. Realized, which means understood, fulfilled, comprehend. If I click realized, it will change it for me. And now that red line is gone. Okay. Now that is helpful, but it's not always helpful. For example, if I type Inha University, it recognizes the word university, but it doesn't recognize the word Inha because that's not in its dictionary. Okay. So if you see a red line like that and you know it's correct, don't worry about it. You can actually tell it if you right click, you can tell it to ignore that word. Spelling, and you can say ignore. And that way, every time it sees the word Inha, it won't worry about it. Now the red line is gone. You just told it to accept that, to not worry about it. Okay? All right. I think that's going to be enough of the basic formatting for today. We need to save the file. So File, and click Save As. Okay. And I'm going to do it on my PC. I will put this in my Business English 2 folder. Okay. And John 200 journals or journal. Okay. John 200 journal. And then save it so that when you send it to me, it will have up here at the very top your name, your 3-digit number, and journal. Okay. So make sure you do the formatting that I've explained on here and then send that to me before class on Thursday. Okay. I'm going to be busy this week preparing your test for next week, so I'm not going to read these tonight. So as long as I have them before class on Thursday, that would be great. Okay. All right, guys, have a good day, and I look forward to reading your journals. Thank you.